Just like there's a long list of liberal celebrities who swear they'll go if a Republican is elected, and no one ever does. Miley Cyrus once said, "I am moving if Trump is my president. I don't say things I don't mean." Here she is looking miserable, having to endure America at the Grammys last Sunday. I guess she flew back from Tajikistan. In 2016, Eddie Griffin said, "If Trump wins, I'm moving to Africa." Apparently very slowly, because in Trump's 4 years, he only got as far as Van Nuys. George Lopez once said that if Trump won, he won't have to worry about immigration. We'll all go back. George Lopez, still here.
You know, there is a constant joke in America that never loses its humor every election season. Famous people line up to claim they will leave the nation if a Republican wins. But surprise, surprise, they never actually leave. Not once, not a single one of those dramatic promises has turned into a packed bag. And a one-way trip. Take Miley Cyrus, for instance, back in 2016. She swore repeatedly that if Donald Trump became president, she was out moving overseas. She even insisted, "I don't say things I don't mean." Well, fast forward to now. And where do we see her sitting in the front row at the Grammys in Los Angeles, not exactly hiding out in Tajikistan? Honestly, if that is her idea of exile, I would not mind trying it. And Miley is not alone, Eddie Griffin claimed. He would head to Africa if Trump won. Guess what? 4 years went by, and the man barely made it out of Van Nuys. George Lopez once joked that if Trump won, he would not need to worry about deportation. He would just go back. Spoiler alert, George is still here, still working, still collecting paychecks. It is always the same story: loud statements, headlines, cheers from their supporters, then silence, not a single moving truck to be seen. Now stop for a moment and notice the irony. These are the same people who constantly lecture us about morality, fairness, justice, and what is wrong with America. They shout that this country is a broken nightmare. But when it really matters, they are not going anywhere because deep down, they know what everyone knows for all. Its problems. There is no place better.
Maybe the problem isn't that America isn't worth defending. Maybe the problem is that lots of people today are entitled whiners who have no perspective and no idea how good they have it. 59% of self-identified liberals say there have been times when they considered leaving America for good, like after NBC canceled The West Wing.
And that is exactly the point Bill Maher was making in his latest takedown of woke celebrities. And let me tell you, it was harsh, but also funny. Maher did not just joke about the double standards. He tore them apart. He exposed this lineup of spoiled stars who act like leaving the United States would be some grand act of resistance, when really it is just theater, nothing more than fake drama for social media attention. Think about it. They claim they are leaving because they cannot live in Trump's America, but where exactly are they planning to go? Russia, where you can literally be thrown in prison for calling the Ukraine war a war.
In Russia, just referring to the war in Ukraine as a war can get you 15 years in the fabulous prisons made famous by some of the world's most famous novels. You think America's evil because we didn't nominate Margot Robbie for an Oscar? Just wait till you get thrown out the window of your very own dream house.
China, where dozens of offenses can lead to the death penalty. Uganda, where people can be executed for being gay. Or perhaps Venezuela, where criticizing the government can get you held indefinitely. The truth is they are not moving to any of those places because their idea of suffering in America is attending the Grammys instead of the Golden Globes, or worse, not winning an Oscar. Meanwhile, folks from around the world are risking everything to come here. And that is no coincidence.
Uganda? Oh, they don't just give you a ticket for parking in the rear. You can get the death penalty for it. In China, they have the death penalty for almost 50 crimes. And in 13 countries, atheism is punishable by death.
And this is where Maher's point hits even harder. It is not only about celebrities. Now, everyday people are posting on TikTok saying things like the new American dream is to leave. Really? You have kids on TikTok bragging, "I escaped America," escaped from what? The Starbucks line, the free Wi-Fi, the ability to insult your own government on social media without vanishing into a gulag. That is when Maher nailed it, the wall we argue about in America is not built to keep you trapped. Nobody is holding you hostage if you do not like it here. There are 195 other countries waiting for you.
Then there's all the TikToks telling Americans things like,
I think the new American dream is to leave.
I'm 18 years old and I escaped America.
yeah. Yeah, you don't have to escape America. That wall we're always debating isn't to keep you in.
But let's be honest, if America is so terrible, why is everyone else struggling to get in, not out? And that is the question nobody wants to answer. If this nation is truly the nightmare that TikTok activists and woke celebrities describe, why do millions of immigrants risk everything just to step onto us soil? Why do people sail across oceans, crawl under fences, and wait years in line for the chance at American citizenship? You do not see crowds sneaking into North Korea or Venezuela. You do not see people desperate to move to Saudi Arabia where women cannot even pick their own clothes. But you do see caravans of people determined to enter the supposedly awful United States. That fact alone should end the debate. And here is what Maher really revealed. The problem is not America. The problem is entitlement. Many people today are so blinded by privilege that they lack perspective. They live better than most of the planet, yet they complain, as if they are trapped in some dystopian nightmare.
And 61 imposed restrictions on women's clothing, so bring a scarf. According to Amnesty International, paramilitary groups killed the government's critics in Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, and arbitrary detentions are widespread in Cuba, Ecuador, El Salvador, Nicaragua. If you're wondering how that's just like no cash bail, it's not.
Take the LGBTQ plus community, for example. Yes, there are still problems here. Nobody denies that. But compared to the rest of the world, America is their safest place. In more than 60 nations, being gay is against the law. In some, it can even cost you your life. In America, you have pride parades, legal rights, media visibility, and the freedom to marry whoever you love. Yet some activists insist they need to escape this oppressive nightmare, escape to Europe, where hate crimes against LGBTQ plus people are still common. Africa, where dozens of countries outlaw homosexuality. It is delusion wrapped in privilege.
The New Republic just ran a story about the vulnerable minorities who want to flee America, including the author, a gay man trapped in the dystopian homophobic hellscape that is New York City. I wonder if he knows that there are 66 countries where just being gay is a crime. Cute story in the news last month. Burundi's president called on his citizens to stone gay people, and not in the good way. Wow, suddenly the don't say gay law doesn't sound all that bad.
And this is the core of Maher's takedown. America does have problems. Yes, we are 54th in infant mortality, 19th in literacy, 72nd in female political representation. And the list continues, but the answer is not whining on Twitter, threatening to leave, or staging dramatic protests that block traffic. The answer is work real hard, unglamorous work, rolling up your sleeves and repairing what is broken instead of throwing fits every time an election does not go your way. Because here is the harsh reality. Real patriotism is not about waving a flag when your side wins and booking a flight when your side loses. Real patriotism is staying when things are difficult. It is about wanting to fix America, not run from it.
I'm confused by this political message. Vote for me because I hate it here. Now, does America have big problems? Yes, I've often cited the America sucks list. Things like being 54th in the world in infant mortality behind Cuba, 19th in literacy behind Russia, 72nd in female representation in government behind Iraq. A lot of work to do here. And is it possible for a country to lose itself so much that leaving it is justified? Yes, but we're not there yet, not by a long shot. And we don't need quitters. We need people who will stay and fix it.
And let's be completely honest, most celebrities would not last 5 minutes dealing with the real struggles that everyday Americans face. They do not know what it feels like to lose sleep over a mortgage, to stretch a paycheck until the end of the month, or to worry that medical bills might ruin your family. Their idea of hardship is choosing between flying private or first class. That is why their political speeches feel so empty. They live in a bubble, disconnected from reality, yet they still think they have the right to tell the rest of us how to live. Sorry, but no thanks. And the hypocrisy does not stop there. These same people who trash America for being terrible are also the ones demanding we open our borders to immigrants. Wait a minute. If America is really so awful, why invite more people here? Why encourage others to come suffer in this supposedly oppressive nation?
I don't get it. You want so badly for every immigrant to come to this country and experience the good life, but somehow it's so terrible you want to leave? And I see conservatives in Texas are talking secession again. They have 2 bumper stickers in that state. America, love it or leave it, and we're leaving it.
The contradiction is obvious. If America really is the nightmare they describe, would the moral thing not be to warn people away instead of dragging them in? It only makes sense when you realize it was never about principle. It was about optics, about attention, about clout. And that is why Maher's takedown struck a chord, because he stripped away the performance and revealed the truth. These celebrity resistance claims are nothing but virtue, signaling they want applause, not responsibility. They want to look bold without making any real sacrifice. But here is what gets me every time, despite all the whining, all the TikToks, all the Grammy speeches, and all the celebrity statements, when the cameras shut off, they stay, every single one of them, because no matter how much they complain, they know the truth. There is nowhere better. So here is the takeaway. America is not perfect, far from it, but it is still the best chance humanity has for freedom, opportunity, and prosperity. That is why millions of people dream of coming here. That is why they risk everything to cross oceans and borders. And that is why the loudest critics, no matter how much they claim to hate it here, never actually leave. So the next time you hear some celebrity threaten to abandon the U.S. if things do not go their way, just remember, they are bluffing. They will still be here tomorrow sipping lattes in Beverly Hills, living a life most people on earth could only imagine. And maybe that is the real joke. They do not hate America. They love it. They just love the sound of their own voices more. So what do you think? Should celebrities just keep quiet and stop pretending they are martyrs? Or do you believe they actually buy into the things they say? Share your thoughts in the comments, because I am curious if anyone really takes these threats seriously. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. There is plenty more where this came from, because at the end of the day, America is not a nightmare. It is the dream, and the people threatening to leave, they are the punchline.